Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to be looking at the next Tex Talks Battletech. This is going to be the Mad Cat. Now, I don't know much about anything to do with Battletech or Mechwarrior because my entire experience was playing the Windows 98 video game. Yeah, I am dating myself a lot more than I'm okay with on that comment, but it's accurate, unfortunately. But I recognize this model. I don't know if I saw it in the game or just general pop culture, because this seems to be the most famous mech out of anything that is not Gundam. Yeah, like a lot of anime mechs. I love them, but they have a very niche audience for the longest time, where the Mad Cat Mechwarrior mech was what you thought of as what a mech looked like for most of the time in the Western Hemisphere. And I have literally no idea about any of it other than it is existing for a very long time, and I kind of want to know more now because I'll be honest, I'm an addict now. I'm just waiting to find the right set to buy. I heard there's going to be a re-release soon. I might be waiting for that. Or the release came out and my information's outdated, which is entirely possible because me being on accurate, up-to-date information. That would actually be really fun. I wish I could do that. So we're just going to jump right in. You guys know the deal. Link below, Tex's video. It's Tex. If you're here, you know he's awesome. Do it anyways. And when you're done, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started. Oh, sorry, just... Ooh. If you had to start on a good image, this... I love these kind of scale blueprints. Like just seeing how there's the one side and then the cut back interior. As a kid, every time I saw anything like this, I'd be like, I want this. I don't know what it is, but I want it. And here we go. As far as I'm concerned, this is the most iconic mech in Mechwarrior, just because it's the only one I knew about for literal decades. Am I right? Oh, probably not, but still cool. And it's a clan Omni-Mech. I suddenly feel like I just embarrassed myself, but let's be honest.
Tex here, and we're going to talk Battletech. The topic of this episode is the poster child of the franchise.
Oh, it was the poster child.
That one. To some, it's a gaudy waste of sea-bills and a superbly inviting target. To others, it's a brilliantly balanced modular weapon system capable of fulfilling any mission parameters and winning any engagement with a capable pilot.
Oh, so it's an Omni-Mech,
Some call it a Mad Cat. Some call it a Timberwolf. For certain fans, it is...
Okay, one. Yeah, we can see this is Laubo 94. Or is that 04? I can't tell. Either way, though. Okay, yeah. No, that was an Activision. That was an I just noticed that. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, this was an Activision game. On a demo CD-ROM. Oh, God, this is probably the game I played. If not earlier, I don't... Oh, wow. If anyone knows what year this came out. Also, I might be judging myself even harsher for having played an Activision game. It wouldn't have been so bad last year, other than just in general Activision. But the last year, wow. Way to go me and finding reasons to judge myself this video. I'm not, why is this video becoming a giant roast of myself? I'm not okay with this. I'm really not okay with this.
And winning any engagement with a capable pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Some call it a Mad Cat.
Love the art here.
Some call it
like
a
the tiny
Timberwolf.
mechs. What are those?
For certain fans, it is the
These two down here.
definitive
What is that?
centerpiece to the entire
Don't turn this up a
franchise in lore and design emphasis.
This is so
For
cool.
the haters, it is the argument of style versus substance incarnate. To
I mean,
the chosen few of the clan war
substance is
machine,
important, but
she is
style
a
doesn't
goddess
matter.
of the battlefield, smiting down the unworthy and righteous fire.
If only it wasn't a
to the
clan.
inner sphere, it is a harbinger of hard times,
Oh?
of uneven fights and dark days ahead.
Because it's probably super durable, but
It has
super
been
expensive.
called a game changer, a force multiplier, a mighty engine of war driven by the best in pursuit of their... Oh, wait. They lost.
Sorry, like all the comments, and honestly, now I'm thinking about it, every video I've done, even slightly touching on anything Battletech, has been this. May 3052. Never forget 2Kid. Even the first video I know of that Stringstorm did on anything to do with Battletech was a song about 2Kid. And I might be mispronouncing this. But more importantly, let's just focus on this. Like this. There's the blood, the grit, the viscera, the... Oh, God. His body is smoking. Not even on fire, although it might be a fire effect. But it looks more like smoke just from the sheer exertion and heat. And then up here, like the torn up mech tearing It's on fire. It's collapsing. I don't recognize what it is. Is it supposed to be the same type? Because it's so much of a different design. It almost has like a car type top. And just, what is going on? And, are those bodies falling out of it? Oh, so that would be the cockpit. This is such a weird variation, but it looks so cool. Like you can see the rocket pod. There's one being dropped out, another one there. Sorry, just like as far as just desolate black and white art goes, this is like peak 80s. Early 90s, and it's probably one of the least embarrassing ones that I've seen in a long time, because a lot of it's like, yeah, we're gonna be super gritty sci-fi, and this one is, yes, it's super gritty sci-fi, but it holds up well because it shows the bodies in unfortunately disturbing positions, but also in the sheer dying where you were left, bodies draped in a pile, the spools, the just torn apart mechanics. I think that's is that a rim? I think it is. I don't even know what this is. It's like a superstructure torn apart and barely fallen over, but almost completely gone. And then just, sorry, as far as art goes, this is probably one of the absolute coolest, but it's also the most anachronistic because it's such an old design. It looks so much blockier. But normally when you do the older blocky art from anything around this, it looks blocky, like a cereal box with guns. This one looks like a Trans Am Dodge Charger mixed with a Firebird, like crazy classic old car mixed with something with a semi-truck grill. There's like the crazy walk forward. You can see it's tipping over. It has so many parts that shouldn't work, but it looks so damn cool all stuck together. I'm sorry, I'm geeking out, but I think this is one of those images that just really justifies it.
Didn't they?
Really need to get
so
into
what
those.
the fuck is the big deal with the fucking Mad Cat?
Then he started to cover it up.
Let's get into that.
Like he actually covered it up here just
on
to show a
this
little
episode of Tex Talks Battletech. When the clan decided to throw down on the Unisphere, they came through the periphery, eradicating scant resistance in the form of pirates, pocket empires, single-system nation-states, and the like. In 3049, on an asteroid that fell into the range of barely habitable, a mercenary company of the Kellhounds were under contract to hunt down pirates in a forgettable system called the Rock. A scout lance ran into a band of unknowns.
Yeah, makes sense.
And a pilot was confused to encounter a glitch. You see, Phelan Kell's wolfhound was having trouble telling him what in the fuck was shooting at him. In between his opponent yelling about claims and bondsmen and all that jazz. The targeting computer said Mad Cat, because it looked kind of like a cross between a marauder and a catapult. Also, Intersphere equipment tends to be dumb and badly made. See? There, I made a joke about my stuff.
Sorry, just on the one hand, the joke is fine, yeah. The old art, I actually really like this. It doesn't look nearly as functional. The guns are smaller. It looks more like style over substance, but honestly, I kind of appreciate that. But this, I like how the in-universe reason it's named this is because the targeting computer was trying to overlay two different models. That's actually such a cool little bit of lore for why you have an incorrect name that actually sounds cool. I just actually really appreciate that that's the lore here. That's just really cool.
Now, you clanners. So when the survivors of the mercenary company managed to limp
these people don't look ugly. This must be newer art.
About crazy shit like mechs nobody's ever seen before, driven by brilliantly dangerous pilots, and had records to prove their crazy stories were true.
It seems smaller than some of the others.
Applied. Mad Cat.
Also, gun, missiles. Oh, that is... We are looking at sheer robot porn right now, man. Oh, baby. Also, just the part I mentioned about the people not being nearly as, let's put it like someone had an insistent ancestry of inbreeding. So let's go with the royal blood. Yeah, normally a lot of sci-fi art in every damn franchise that was even slightly Western decided, let's make people look like they were hit by a bat multiple times at birth. Here, I mean, yeah, it's the big, bulky, blonde, this guy who's got tons of tattoos. It's the general, but they're not overplaying the jaw to like absurd degrees or like big, just like exaggerating features to make them look tough. It looks like a person. It doesn't look overdone. It's just, okay, that's a person. And yeah, sure. They're generally there, but they're not the murder face that doesn't look human. It's like that. I guess the best way to put it is it doesn't move into the uncanny valley effect where it's just non-human enough that you can see it looks like a human, but it really doesn't. I am very much calling out some of the early art for anything human in 40K because while the art is very iconic, it's also not even indicative of just 40K. It's just like any 80s style sci-fi art has that look. Anything in the 70s style sci-fi art, sometimes even the 50s, and into the 90s, you could always tell that stretch of time because of the art. This one, I would say maybe late 90s at the absolute earliest, maybe 2000s. It could be later because it looks like actual people. Am I wrong? Oh, it's entirely possible. But in general, that just seems to be a constant when it comes to sci-fi art. So it's just a very interesting take here. It also means this is a later interpretation of the Mad Cat, and I mean, it looks like a huge mech, but especially compared to them, it's only maybe 2 to 3 stories tall, which is still huge. But for comparison, there is a real-life Gundam that's closer to 6. Yeah, see? This thing. This is a real-life Gundam. Let's count the stories because I can't go over it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go about 6 stories because there's probably like a double one right there. So let's go about 6 stories tall. Real life goddamn Gundam. That is an actual thing. It moves. It's mostly a toy at this point and doesn't sport its own weight. But dear God, the fact that it is a real thing should give a lot of credence to the fact that this thing, it's big, but it's also significantly smaller or more built down. So it's a very concentrated frame. And considering we've seen some of the other mechs that are, you know, here is a skyscraper masquerading as a robot, basically. It seems more compact than I realized. Unless the art angle is significantly enhancing the size of the people, because that's entirely possible. It's a much smaller mech than I realized.
Stories were true. A name was
still looks really
implied.
damn cool. That's a lot of guns.
Mad Cat. By this guy. Who works for Space AT&T.
Oh, wait. Space
Once
AT&T
in
named them
contact
first?
with regular forces, the Mad Cat continued its rampage, serving brilliantly in the name of Clan Wolf. In nearly every engagement, it made its prowess known through brilliant engineering applied by the best pilots the Inner Sphere had ever seen.
And again, there's like the human-style
Which was
armors.
something nobody could surely have seen coming, and warned every man, woman, and child that hell was on the horizon and coming straight at us.
I actually don't know who that is.
Surely, nobody. At all. At all.
I don't know who that is. I'm assuming it's someone in the significant history that everyone loves. It's like, oh wow, if I wasn't getting all of my lore so far from text, I would know this. I'd be like, this joke is obvious. I'm just sitting here going like, yeah, I'm the butt of this joke. And I'll fully admit to that. For everyone in the comments who are like, Airier, you dumb idiot. This is actually who it is. I'm actually grateful because I would like to find out. And I don't know if I'd actually be able to find it just based on the image of this guy. And it's going to bug me. It's going to bug me a lot. So for everyone who's actually going to tell me, I appreciate this. And I'm not even complaining that you're going to insult me because I deserve it, because I should know this by now. I've got the links people sent me about where to find all the lore. I am just very lazy and motivated by dumb shit like, oh, hey, shiny. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm fully acknowledging that.
Anyways, saying that it tended to win engagements is putting it lightly.
What are those miner
Equipment
suits?
tended to blow away fully garrisoned defensive armies like dandelions.
Dandelions?
As it turns
Oh,
out,
it's what they're. It's a joke to call them
warrior
that.
culture tends to breed effective
Clanner?
warriors. Having generations of pilots trained on a single weapon system and
I mean, I guess
hyper-competitive warrior
good armor
culture
would
makes
be.
for a very
Is that a
effective
gun hand?
means by which to wage war.
That's a gun hand. Or is that like a sleeve gun? Why? That seems like the dumbest thing I can imagine. Like, oh yeah, your hand is protected. Unless it's like some kind of radioactive gun with a very short decay range, because space magic, I just... It looks cool, but also very stupid. Granted, this is probably one of the older bits of art. And you notice how I mentioned some of the ugly art? This one isn't so bad, but the hairstyle definitely dates it, as you know exactly when this was made. This guy, honestly, he doesn't look so bad. In general, most of the mech art here is pretty damn good. Still pretty dated, but I'm more or less just going with the hair. The hair is what's doing it here. You can always tell exactly when something's made because of that. Generally, though, the art's not bad.
For a time.
Stupid armor.
Anyways.
I mean, is it really hot in those things? Actually, probably is.
The Mad Cat could easily make short work of equivalent tonnage mechs and comfortably swing above its weight. It was not uncommon during this time to hear of a clan-heavy star engaging multiple seemingly
Were they called stars in their
before retreating with minor damage, leaving all the inner sphere equipment comparatively and completely humbled.
Ooh.
Throughout the invasion, the Mad Cat fought on the front lines, clanners introducing their inner sphere adversaries.
Now this is interesting. A lot of the time when we see the art, it's always much more bulky, built up, and sometimes more of the great battles when you have both of them in the same one. This is one of the few times, at least that I've seen so far, where you have a pretty good look of what the Mad Cat looks like, and a pretty good look of what the original aesthetic for... Is that the Thor? It might be. It's hard to tell because of the angle. But it's like you could tell there's an aesthetic difference. Here it's very much hunched over robot. This one is mech. Or I guess this is a mecha versus a mech. It's a small difference and literally means nothing except for the difference I'm going to give it right now. Where there's a very much, this is supposed to look like a person. This is supposed to look like I'm going to fucking kill you. Both are perfectly accurate in what they do, but it's just, this is much more square, much more blocky. It doesn't look very fast. This one looks like it could hop around because of the digitried legs. Also, fuck yes, amounts of guns. And it's cool to see them duking it out, where this guy actually somehow managed to flank the bigger mech. Bigger in the sense that it stands up taller, although I think in sheer tonnage it's probably similar, because that's a very big, very squat base, which probably would produce its shooting profile, so it's actually not a bad idea.
To a whole new style of warfare, where their enemies had better stuff and used it to win, seemingly effortlessly. All in all, the Mad Cat is an exceptional weapon system within short, high-intensity conflicts, exactly the sort of war that clans excel at. Intensity? However, that is not to say they haven't found appreciation in the inner sphere. While supremely expensive for a heavy mech at 24,233,124 C-bills.
Oh, baby. Every time I look at this, there's just a little more detail. Oh God, not just the battle damage, not just how you can see the glancing ray cut through and it's still smoldering, not just how you can see the blast ray or how the building is liquefying in the background on it, or the face down here and the armor damage, and or the cannon itself is doing the beam, but you can see it's not actually a laser because it has almost an electric plasma effect. You can tell exactly what kind of energy is being used. But there's a laser right there because it has a completely different look. But even just right here, you can see there's actually almost like a shield over this. And whether that's just a haze of energy because there's probably some kind of generator in there or an actual shield, I don't know, but it's beautiful. And then I can't tell if that is art or damage to the window. It's so detailed though. And then, yeah, there's the laser right there. And you can see where it was scraping over from the gun down below. And oh, baby, this is brilliant. Like sometimes when you see an image like this, it's detail overload and you can't focus. This is not the case because every single second, like you can see all the way in the background how the buildings are barely there, but it's burning. And over here, like every single level in this one, it's so huge. Assuming they're at least 2 levels up, this is 4 stories tall. This is a very big model. And then this one in the background, it might just be a height advantage. I don't know. And then this gun, it's definitely bigger than some of the previous art. It looks bulkier. It might be a comparison because the leg is swung the other way, so it looks different by comparison. But it just... Oh, sorry. This is like literal mech overload. Oh, and then there's the bits of steam coming off here, and the smoke from the fire and actual firings.
17 urban mechs, or an early comfortable retirement. The Mad Cat or Timberwolf.
Wait. It cost 24 million C-Bucks to retire in the mech and Battletech universe? At least to do it comfortably? I mean, yeah, the comparison to Irby's basically being the cheap platform that can somehow do everything really well. And the fact that I'm trying not to geek out of the fact we could see the missiles firing. It's just so freaking beautiful. But that's actually kind of depressing when you realize the mechs are super expensive, but one of them in retirement are apparently the same thing. That's actually kind of depressing.
Has found its place in the hands of pilots rich enough to acquire them.
So freaking
most
cool.
In the Solaris 7 arena. Why? Well, it's an Omni-Mech dummy.
Yeah.
It can be anything. It's Legos with weapons. It's perfect for
Makes sense to me.
Small-scale, high-intensity battles.
Also, is everyone just watching a fight in their mechs?
It's just as important as anything else. It's a mech gladiator's wet dream. It's a masterful weapon system, coveted by all who've seen it fight, regardless of their allegiance. Let's move on to the design specs. The Timberwolf
blueprints
began mass production in 2945, giving the designers and industrial base 140 years to work out the kinks.
Still surprisingly shorter than I expected.
Began in earnest. In fact, having a system in production for that span of time largely means you have generations of warriors trying to fight with it and figuring out what tactics
focus
work
on the
best
laser
with its design capabilities. And boy, what capabilities it does have.
Oh?
Unfortunately, for reasons I'll expound upon later, it was decided to be built at one and only one facility.
What?
On Strana Mechti. This mech was
That's stupid.
rarer during the clan invasion because Clan Wolf realized they had a hell of a war machine and jealously defended it. So much so that the only way for anyone other than Clan Wolf to possess one was through gift giving or battlefield salvage.
I'm sorry. I mean, I know people keep saying the clans are sometimes idiots, like they're battle savants, implying that they can do one thing really well, and working together apparently was not it. I'm coming to realize why the clans lost. They were never actually a united front, were they? Like, I haven't even got to 2K yet, and I have an idea exactly why they lost is going to be because they fucked each other up. They didn't work together, and they basically fought a bunch of mini-wars kind of in the same area against generally the same enemy, but they were mini-wars, not a cohesive front. Because they had such an amazing mech, and they decided one place is going to do it. I mean, yeah, sure, if you want the people you're allied with to not be as good as you, that makes perfect sense. But that is stupid. Especially when you're trying to actually win. It's almost like a form of arrogance based on the assumption that you're going to win, and you need to worry more about your fellow victors than you do the people who are trying to murder you right now. That's so dumb. That they have something so good and they decided, hey, let's just do it here. Just here. Like, I'm assuming just for my own sake, as well as because he hasn't specified yet, as far as Texas said, that they don't just mean a single facility on a single planet in a single area, and there's more than one facility actually making it, because that would just be really dumb. Like, even if they're not making many, even if it's not a mass production deal and they don't have the resources to make a lot, having only a single facility capable of doing it, it's such a strategic weak point. I don't even want to comprehend it. I mean, just having it in a single clan is dumb. When you have dumb things like this in 40K, it's because people are explicitly dumb and jealous and stupid and self-defeating. Here, from everything people have said about the clans, that actually might be accurate as well. Wow, I'm sorry. It's like for all the crazy things, like they're battle-bred warriors, genetically defined to be really damn good at this. And they were, and they had the technology because they had basically shot themselves in the foot and the leg and the dick and the pelvis and every other part of the body they could reach. And they tried to shoot themselves with their own hand, but they couldn't reach the trigger, so they shot the other hand instead. Basically, I've been told that loss of technology is because people are dumbasses in the inner sphere. And I just apply that general principle to it. And yet, with all of these advantages, the clan, through sheer stupid arrogance, sounds like they literally set them up to fail here. I'm sorry, just... Price comes down with mass production. And they explicitly didn't mass produce it. So something that could have been everywhere wasn't, because it sounds like stupid, arrogant reasoning. Based on a logic thought process that discounts your enemies. And from everything I've heard of 2K, that sounds like it's going to be what happens.
Fun fact, it's hard to salvage clan technology because salvage is traditionally reserved for winners. As a
That would actually be a
75-ton
thing.
amalgamation of
Although not entirely,
Indosteel
it's usually
and
reserved for
ferrofibrous
vultures
armor,
who aren't
the
fighting.
Mad Cat in its prime configuration clips along at 86.4 kilometers an hour. Or in moon landing units, that's about 53 miles an hour.
Ooh.
With double heat sinks and top-of-the-line technology, whatever build you can dream up, the Mad Cat has you covered. Unless you're Solaris Jock, then it's going to break.
What?
Because you're going to take something nice and ruin it in 90 seconds of
Solaris
glory.
Jock?
Aren't you?
Are they just
Let's
bad
get into
pilots?
the makes and models, shall we? The primary configuration, or that is the clan invasion era primary default standard murder inner sphere with ease and then maybe go back to the drinking den version, is a whole lot of ass blasting weaponry on a mobile weapon system. 2 LRM-20s because fuck you at range, 2 ER large lasers to engage targets at medium range, and yes, with clan tech, ER large lasers are for medium range. 2 ER medium lasers for lesser medium range, and a medium pulse laser for disco death mode, and 2 machine guns because infantry need to die as well.
Disco death mode? All I can think is they're a giant ball of... Oh, that's why disco death mode. It's literally a ball of lasers everywhere. Oh, yeah. I think I love the model just even more because of that.
Alternative configuration alpha, configured specifically for long-range direct fire support. Think asshole sniper and you won't be far off. 2 ERPPCs
Nice.
for long-range shenanigans.
Honestly, probably the best way to do it is
Pulse
since it's
lasers
such a
for
valuable
short-range
mech.
shenanigans. And if anyone gets too uncomfortably close, a Streak SRM-6 to introduce them to the concentrated hate that is clanner missile tech.
All the missiles.
Alternative configuration beta is a confused mess of weapons,
What?
offering a little bit for everybody and lacking any real focus.
Oh.
To me, it says, this is for training. See what you like.
Oh, okay, that makes
You
sense.
get a Gauss rifle, an LRM-10
Honestly,
launcher,
just
a
having a
large
training
pulse
loader is
laser,
not a bad
small
idea.
pulse laser,
Lets
and
you know which one you
SRM-4,
won't
and
fuck
it's all
up.
linked by an Artemis 4 fire control system, so the missiles group just a little better.
Ooh.
Just because they care. Alternative
Not a bad way to do it with
configuration
rockets.
Charlie, well,
Missiles, whatever.
the Charlie is almost like an alt take on the Prime. You get 2 ER large lasers and an Ultra AC-5 autocannon. You get 2 LRM-15s, and for closer in, you get an ER medium laser and an anti-missile system for any return fire fears.
I mean, if you're close enough for missiles, an anti-missile is
Alternative
not a bad idea.
configuration Delta. This layout, well, sometimes called the Frankenstein, is
The
a
what?
series of ideas joined by a theme called I'm here to kick ass and claim bondsmen, and I'm all out of bondsmen.
What?
2 ERPPCs at the primary.
I'm guessing this is up close?
Secondaries are 4 Streak SRM-6 launchers. 1 on each torso is rear-facing as an option because sneak up on me and get blasted, son.
Yeah.
Then they added an ER small laser to shoot birds or something. You're not allowed to shit on clan tech, apparently, and clanners are sadistic bastards. Configuration
Yeah.
Echo centers around the Advanced Tactical Missile System with 2 ARM-9 launchers. A light
Okay, so I'm guessing these are the ARM-9s in the generic picture that almost every single version has had so far because they look so freaking cool.
designator and 2 ER large lasers. In a sense, it's a fire support take on the Prime with an ability to call an arrow for support as needed.
Ooh.
Seeing as the inner sphere was nearly out of arrow 4 munitions and launchers were relegated to museums as long-lost technology from a more civilized age, this mech was a horrifying surprise in that it ruined everything and brought the hammer down on things that it couldn't outright destroy. Configuration Foxtrot seems to be more mindful of infantry, and that it wants to kill them. It replaces the pulse laser with an ER medium laser, and with the savings throws those into anti-personnel Gauss rifles because nothing says fun for infantrymen like being exploded. Configuration Hotel is your Swiss Army knife
Gauss
build.
rifle? Oh,
2
hell yes.
LRM-20s with Artemis 4 fire control for long-range precise volleys. For close range, you get 2 heavy large lasers which reliably delete a ton of armor with every trigger pull. There's also an ER small laser because, as I said, birds are not allowed to shit on clan tech. It's dishonorable. Here's where things get interesting.
Just get a
There's
bigger bird.
spin-offs on this design.
Or a bunch of
Yeah.
pigeons. They shit on
Sphere
everything.
had the gall to try to copy it and did so with the Rakshasa, which was almost as expensive, far less capable, and generally a disappointment.
Oh.
It's like a Mad Cat that was put together in the dark. Think of it as Diablo 3 to Diablo 2, with 2 being the OG Mad Cat. And it's not
What about
a sin
Diablo
that
1?
they made a worse mech. It's a sin
played
that
any
they
of them, so-
tried. Same lesson stands for Diablo. You hear me, Blizzard? Anyways, in addition, there are 2 generations of Offspring for the Mad Cat. The Mark II
More
and
armor?
3. Mark
Lighter
II
armor.
was an assault mech because why not just give it more weapons and armor like a proper asshole?
Yeah.
Now it's even more deadly. It comes standard with 2 Gauss rifles and has other things that make you want to cry. It's full bore ridiculous and wonderful to pilot. If the Mad Cat was a wrestler, the Mad Cat
Sumo?
2 would be Macho Man Randy Savage.
Okay, that is... I want to find out if they have a Mad Cat Mark II model, because I wanted just to have the Randy, the Mad, a freaking Randy Savage mech. I wonder if I could somehow paint it to look... See, you hear that sound? That's the sound of my wallet screaming in pain as I'm contemplating something I know I shouldn't be able to afford.
Because
no.
expect the unexpected in the kingdom of madness. Oh yeah. The Mark III is a step in the opposite, and some would argue wrong direction. It's a
Thinner,
medium mech with definitive
bigger
design
arms,
cues taken from
lower
the
guns.
original Mad Cat. Insofar as medium mechs go, it's terrifying. It has 2 LRM-20s, because compromise is for losers.
Mm-hmm.
If
Actually, there's something I noticed about that I want to go back to look at. Like, there's a distinct style in what makes it better. Like here, more arms, more... I don't even know what the hell. Is that like a design choice? Yeah, it looks weird. It's more straightforward legs, but there's still a Digitrite aspect. And similar to this one, they have like the drop-down arms with the guns. It looks more like they tried to functionalize it in the sense that it looks like a person with the head just a little lower. This one, though, the biggest distinct difference is the arms. It's just a gun on the torso, and it kind of looks better as far as I'm concerned. Has the gun right there. It's utilizing the space in a more compact package with much thicker armor. It looks so cool. It also has a significantly more pronounced Digitrite stance, which, at least in real-world terms, is actually really damn stable. Like, this amount of bending would be very hard on this servo right here, but there's a reason Boston Dynamics, when they do their completely not absolutely batshit terrifying robot dog that can open doors, because that's a thing they have programmed it to be able to do. And I'm going to try very hard to think about that. No Black Mirror stuff here. Has that same setup of Digitrite legs. This is too light, and this one, I honestly can't tell. It looks like it's bending in to walk. That's weird. But it's kind of like this one. It looks good. It's super armored. It's super durable. There's no excess need to move, and it looks almost like the torso bends instead of the arm moving, where this one would be the arms move because the torso can't. There's so many fewer moving points, and those that do are super heavy, and how they're built up. They're pretty damn armored. They got plenty of space used just for what they need for guns. This is just a really cool mech. And this one, it's like this. From a sheer design point, it's a lot of extra space with not much gain and much less armor. Also, I just kind of like this because giant-ass gun. As you can see, when it comes to giant-ass lasers and things that also are kind of cool like that, I have a preference. And it's cool.
Because compromise is for losers. If this mech didn't have notable mighty warriors, it would be a failure. It does not disappoint, with quite a few examples for the purposes of this discussion. The first notable is Pride, spelled Pryde.
Oh,
after
God, we got
the
a
blood
kitty
name.
here.
I'm referring, of course, to Star Colonel Aiden Pride, who piloted one with the Falcon Guards on Tukiyid in 3052.
Didn't he die to a giant white
From
mech?
Fresno Plain to Robbins Crossing. Eden's Timberwolf made hell for the comm guards. He fought until overrun by the comm guard 4th Army, taking down a company of war machines with minimal support. His build is remembered for having a quartet of jump jets, adding respectably to its already decent mobility.
Oh, damn.
In addition, the Bounty Hunter drove one at various points throughout his, well,
The Bounty Hunter?
Well,
the Bounty Hunter is just
look,
called the Bounty Hunter?
I can do a whole episode
weird.
on this character. Just suffice to say, he's the setting's Dread Pirate Roberts. The Bounty Hunter
Really?
had 2 identified builds. The first with large pulse lasers and medium pulse lasers.
I'm seeing a laser theme here.
Full ECM suite and a targeting computer. The second was Jihad era and was a Franken build with large pulse lasers, medium lasers, SRM-4s, streak SRM-4s, anti-personnel Gauss rifles, ER small lasers, targeting computers, coolant pods, and jump jets, plus ammo. Because why not? There's
And
also
anti-personnel.
the many infamous builds for Solaris jocks, but, well, they tend not to last that long. And any secrets they may hold are at the bottom of a smoking crater. And now,
Why does he
if I
not like
may,
Solaris so much?
I'd like to offer an unpopular
Old man yells at
opinion.
clan.
Having built a solid foundation as an outspoken asshole and battle mech expert with strongly worded opinions, I would like to say the following is an unpopular opinion.
Oh?
Some consider the Mad Cat or Timberwolf a game changer. That it is the stompiest of the stompies, the most DACA of the DACA, the best balanced weapon system there ever was in the setting.
Seems expensive.
Let me state an unpopular opinion, at least a lore-friendly one. What if I say it isn't? What if I say it's a prime example as to why the clanners lost? Right now, somebody is mashing that downvote button, but hear me out. Let's open the history books of the 20th century. There's an army that designs and builds exceptionally lethal weapons.
Oh, I get exactly where he's going on this one. It's super expensive. They have great specialization. But one is so much of an investment that any lucky shot takes out so much that it's just not worth it.
An army that arguably has the best fighters, warriors, and training the world has ever seen.
And got their ass kicked.
At least to that point. This army had mighty warriors who could fight 10 times their number and win. One managed to knock
But they're
out
going to be facing 20
168
times.
tanks in a matter of years. When this nation attacked, it easily stormed over the enemy, defeating them soundly in battle after battle thanks to better organizational doctrine, training, and preparedness.
No,
Their
they were
tools,
prepared when
too,
no one else was,
maintained
so
an
it doesn't
edge
really
over their
count.
opponents, creating fantastic armored vehicles that decimated the enemy for a time. But as the war
Switzerland?
went on, resources became strained.
Yeah.
As the war ground on, manpower was no longer available. And as it turns out, being able to make the finest vehicles for war doesn't mean much if you can't make all that many of them. Or if you can't replace those warriors lost with equally talented ones and in similar numbers. Also, as it turns out, attacking a bunch of people means that ultimately sometimes they will set aside their differences and stop you.
Yep.
And in the process unleash their full industrial power for one purpose: making you die. Consider the following. There were 1,347 Tiger I tanks made. Ever. Meanwhile, there are 49,234 Shermans. There were 35...
There was that many Shermans and very few... I mean, I know the Tiger's closer to what we're doing now as far as tank design, but dear God, even if the numbers he gave were 10-1, if you add a 0 here, you're still being outdone 5-1. So for every, oh dear God, that is horrible odds. Just on sheer bullets alone, they probably run out of ammo before they could even kill everything. There's no way that fight wins if they're even slightly even. Sorry, this is also one of the reasons like where Horde, I guess, in wargaming is so powerful because, yeah. And this is just on things that actually happen in real life. And it does also explain why he's doing it. Like I mentioned earlier how it was stupid to have all of the production in one place. This is the offshoot of it. You don't have nearly as much as you could, so you get overwhelmed.
1,488 base model T-34s made during the war, and another 23,213 T-34s.
Quantity is quality all its own.
While the early T-34 could run maybe 200 clicks before the engines wore out, it was enough to get
That's
the
not a
job
lot.
done.
That's really not a lot.
History isn't always about quality.
It's about not dying.
It's about quantity.
And we got another diaper
War
mech.
is not often kind to the side that makes fewer weapons. War does not often reward nations with the audacity to fight a superior industrial base for a prolonged period of time.
And that's what he meant,
As
short
well,
conflict.
History's lesson for us seems to be that building all your weapons in relatively few places and relatively few numbers for relatively few carefully chosen people is a bad fucking idea.
You build a lot of really
This is
good things
complicated by
that are
having
very
an
easy to use, so
enormously
anyone
long
can do it,
supply
so you can
chain,
replace
a
them.
rigid system of belief
You
that
make
prevents
so
from
many,
utilizing your
you
full
can
might
replace
without
them.
serious loss of honor. This is then complicated by maintaining a large force of high-tech equipment that may not react well to the rigors of prolonged conflict far from
bad.
home. And to note that any supplies, replacement parts, or pilots must be sent from far, far away.
This sounds like he makes a very good point. Not just that they lost, but they basically sent a raiding force to hold land. To give you an idea, this is a great force to go in there and fuck shit up, and then they don't have anything to hold what they have won, so they're going to get spread out and then get dead. I think the phrase about how to fix this is "get good, son," which they didn't. They were very good at one thing, and when that one thing was done, they couldn't keep up because it just didn't work. Wow, that's... I mean, I realized there was issues, but having him lay it out like this is definitely pointing out there's an entire blind spot for your own capabilities here. It's like, we are the best, but we're not immortal. Where the thought process failure is, we are the best, and that's where it stops. It's like whenever you see a football game, baseball game, hockey game, where you can tell the other side is like, okay, we can take it easy now. We can rest because we've got this. We've got this. Why did they just win? And by that, I mostly mean hockey games, because there's a lot of games where it's like they get an early first quarter lead and then no, wait, not quarter period. Wow, I went football in that one, which is weird because I don't actually watch football. It happens a lot.
All of this is then made worse when a war does drag on, because whatever you might think, war has a tendency to change.
Yeah.
War has a tendency to surprise both sides.
And when the size
War
is
has
this
a tendency
huge,
to resolve nothing,
there's
but who
going
has
to be
the larger
just...
industrial base, and who is willing to grind people to dirt for the satisfaction of victory.
And it sounds like their base was already ground to dirt, so they couldn't
The
get it
Mad
worse.
Cat may be the finest weapon of war yet devised in this setting. It may be near perfect as battle mechs go, but
Not enough.
thankfully,
Not enough
it
people
was
who can
too
use it.
little for too few to make a big enough impact. Intersphere historians shudder at what might have happened had the clans had enough time to prepare better, but they didn't.
And this is one of the things I'm going to call out right now. The entire thing is about historians calling out if they had time to prepare better. That's BS. Not just because he said they didn't, but because they had, from what I heard, hundreds of years to prepare. They had all the time to build this, and they chose not to do that. Take what you want about the reason of honor, but really it comes down to bullshit pride. Blame honor all you want, but no, it's just someone thinking they don't need to do it, so they don't. It wouldn't have mattered if they had another 1,000 years if that's the premise they're working on, because it's not going to change anything. If you don't have enough, you don't have enough, which could be very well offset by lower tier, like of if they just stole the design of the Urbies, which they wouldn't because they're so dedicated to doing their own thing. And again, it sounds, I'm just going to call them the Pride. There's definitely the Pride faction. Not the rainbow flag kind that would probably do a better job because, yeah, sure, these guys might be genetically super soldiers. The is very important there. Seriously, if you want to do a mix and match, you can already say in realistic terms, one of these guys with a super long-range loadout and then a shit ton of Urbies just being cheap, disposable, and some of them loaded with absolutely god-awful what the hell level of gun do you have here, would be a very effective combo. You have one thing that the enemy has to get to and that can hit you from yes, and then everything else that can also hit you from wherever you happen to stand, and you need to go to them, thereby negating their entire movement speed disadvantage. But they wouldn't do that because they didn't, and they chose not to, so time wouldn't matter. So sorry, it's one of those obvious unforced errors, and Tex is explaining it in such a way that I'm like, yes, no, this makes sense. It makes so much sense. The only way you would have that issue is in universe. People are arrogant shitheads because they think they're the best. And the thing is, they might be the best, but not immortal. And that's such a freaking unforced error because the reason this annoys me isn't because of the in-lore universe. I like that there's an issue and flaw, that's the word I can speak, a flaw in logic that is built into the setting as why something happened because it makes sense narratively. I hate it because, goddamn, is it too damn accurate. This is the kind of flaw people have in real life all the time. They think they are right, and they stop looking at what could make them not right. Specifically in the idea like, okay, I'm never going to crash my car because I'm a good driver. Okay. Maybe you're a good driver. Maybe you can do NASCAR. Maybe you can do Formula One. It doesn't matter if someone else hits you and you decide not to wear your seatbelt because you're never going to crash. And then you just die because you didn't. It's the stupidity of the confidence. It's like when you find someone who's a genius, who you know is a genius, who's usually right. So when they make a mistake, they never think to double think it. They don't double check their work because they're always right so often they don't do it. It's always better to get the second-hand genius who's a genius, but not the best genius, because they'll sometimes stop and think, hey, did I do this right? And then they'll find the mistake instead of getting fucked over by it.
Because the invasion wasn't planned by especially smart people, just tough ones seeking glory.
Yep.
The Mad Cat, like many other clan mechs, was designed principally for clan
love
warfare,
the paint on that.
where both sides agreed to the rules and regulations. Both sides follow a strict code of honor. Both sides have a limited number of forces to accomplish a strategic objective, and then afterward it is resolved swiftly and without much lingering concern as to supply situations.
That would be the entire low
The
stamina,
Mad Cat,
high effectiveness.
like many other pieces of clan equipment, were designed for limited-scale warfare, between people having galactic slap fights for honor or whatever else. It wasn't until they fought the Sphere that they realized they may have made some goddamn mistakes.
They won the slap fight and then got shot in the head by the guy next to him.
Story for another time. To
Still
sum
really
things
cool
up,
mech.
the Mad Cat is an awesome weapon of war with few notable exceptions. Those exceptions being if you have to pay for it, repair it, buy spare parts, support logistics, and or fight a prolonged conflict with
Especially the last one.
while spare parts and pilots are many hundred light years away at best. Also, I want to say this, and this may strike some people wrong. I am an asshole. This is an opinion. You can disagree with me.
My good sir, how dare you have an opinion that may or may not be completely valid on the internet? Don't you know that no one does that? Says the guy fully aware he's doing an opinion on the internet while being an asshole. I would never ever say otherwise. Yay, hypocrisy.
I'm still an asshole.
He makes a valid point, though.
Sarna.net for being the best fucking wiki in the universe, and an awesome source of information, inspiration, and deep lore knowledge.
Still love the
I
general
want to
art
thank
right
my
here.
editor
So
who puts up
freaking
with
cool.
my nonsense.
I want to get a
Forgoing
copy of the
any
Mark II,
social
though.
interaction for long periods of time to make sure the urban mech memes flow like water.
Yes,
my
the
fan
Irby.
base, who fund this nonsense month after month because they like throwing money at an idiot like me. Thank you for tuning in.
It's good shit.
Next time, the catapult.
Okay, so that's the one that he mentioned the Mad Cat was actually confused partially with. I know nothing about that one. Like, I knew this just because, again, poster child, like he said in the beginning, but now I don't know, and I want to find out. What was it confused as? And if it's called a catapult, does that mean it's really long-range artillery? What would a long-range artillery mech look like? I don't know, but I want to find out. What?
Mysterious invaders.
Oh, God,
known
is this
as
the...
the clan?
It is! It's the in-universe.
Go Braves! Hey, Pops!
What?
Don't call me
Oh,
Pops.
Living Color, I know that one.
Hey, you like Battletech? Hi, I'm Discount Dan, and I want to tell you about my business. Discount Dan's
What?
Mech Superstore, warehouse, spare parts, and term life insurance emporium. Let me ask you something, friendo. Are you at all interested in buying?
One, okay, it has a teeth gut. That's not terrifying. Two, I can see a lot of things in there, but that last one, term life insurance. You think the joke, of course, here is, oh yeah, they're going to die because he's going to show them shit parts. But realistically, it's actually not a bad thing. It's like, I trust my stuff so well that if you die, I'm going to owe you money. Is actually a very credible phrase, and you think it would actually build up his credibility because I think he would have a vested interest in you surviving. The joke, of course, is that you're going to die. The actuality of it is that it's actually really kind of respectable, and you should probably trust him more.
Find your way to glory? Do you want to be feared? Do you want to be respected? You're looking for a killing tool because you broke the last one? Then come on down to Discount Dan's Surplus Mech Warehouse.
Triple F
between the
burger?
Triple F burger and Steiner Arena South Entrance, Solaris 7. I got light mechs, I got heavy mechs, I got assault mechs. I have like literally
why does it have 4
3
legs?
dozen hunchbacks. Nobody buys those. Nobody
Hunchbacks?
buys a hunchback, but you might.
What is a hunchback?
Maybe you will. I bet you will.
It's not
Please
hunched.
buy a hunchback. Look, I got catapults for days. We got new catapults, used catapults, catapult parts, catapult chairs.
Oh,
Listen,
so
we got
those
the
are
biggest
catapults. They're basically
aftermarket
just
Catapult Parts Emporium is a recognized, licensed,
They're
bonded,
basically
and noted
Timberwolf
catapult
with
aftermarket accessory
arms?
installation outlet. You got money? Come on down. I'll help you burn it. I will burn that money right out of your fucking hands because I
Oh,
am
God,
Discount
there's that
Dan,
art
and
again.
That's what I do because I care.
And that was the Mad Cat, which I really love. But seriously, I want to go specifically find a model for the Mad Cat Mark II because it literally hits all the buttons I want for just a really cool, really get down, beat down, shoot 'em up mech that's super dense, durable, and loaded with all the weapons and firepower. It is literally the giant, this is DACA weapon. I want it so much. I don't even know if they have models for it. I need to go find if there are models for that. It's like all of this was cool, but just that tiny little bit of the Mad Cat Mark II. I don't know if he did a video on it because I've actually tried to avoid looking down further in the list in case there's spoilers. I don't know if there would be, but it has happened before. So I'm trying to avoid that. So freaking cool though. And also just, goddamn Tex, you can find some of the absolute best art that is literally just like going from, okay, here's some good old style, black and white, almost charcoal style sketches to things that are newer and just detail porn. And it's beautiful. I might need to come back to some of this video just because there were so many good bits of art. I need to go find them. If anyone knows where some of the art came from, I'd actually really appreciate, well, not links because it's disabled on YouTube for some reason. I don't know how to fix it. I don't really care enough to figure it out because I'm lazy. But I would like someone if they would just tell me where the artist is and who it is because I really would appreciate that. Otherwise, though, goddamn, I need to get into this game. There's a few guys I know who do play it, but they're all now distance-wise over an hour away because I moved, so that's more difficult. All the same, thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and definitely don't forget, tell me where all the lore videos are because I make an entire playlist. I'm going to come back to these. Will I watch them or just watch them on my own time? I don't know. No, I'll definitely watch them regardless. Whether it'll be recorded or not, we'll find out because just so many cool things. Overall, I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you then. Adios.